I'm going to tell you a story you already know. It's the oldest story in the world, and it's basically this. Two-leggeds never learn. They didn't learn 1,000 years ago or 100 years ago, and they still don't learn today. Take what they did to the bison, a robust creature with thunder in its hooves and life-giving warmth in its coat. Two-leggeds hunted them down so much they almost disappeared less than 150 years ago. But as soon as their numbers went back up, the killing started again, just in a much more controlled way. I guess I never learn either, though, because I don't give up on two-leggeds. I talk to them when they come to me for counsel, calling me God or Dios or any of the many names they have for me. They don't always listen, but I keep hoping that maybe someday they will.
Like I told you, if we keep their numbers up by breeding, we can ensure a strength of the herd. That's what they said at the bison industry seminar. Don't you remember?
I suppose.
Wait, you're not having second thoughts, are you?
Well, you know, Dad,
Oh, give me a break.
I just keep thinking about how they were killed in the past. Tens of millions of them, maybe hundreds of millions.
Oh, yeah, but that was uncontrolled killing. It was a westward expansion and the railroad and the Industrial Revolution and plain old greed for their hides. That's not the case anymore.
Right. Today we just want them for the meat.
Well, it's leaner and it has less cholesterol than beef.
I know, thanks to the free range, free from growth hormone conditions we raised them in, like they said at the Bison Industry Seminar.
It's humane, isn't it? 21st century consumers wouldn't have it any other way. Besides, it's not like we ourselves are processing. We're the producers. We raise them and we breed them and we ensure that their numbers stay strong.
Even if it is somebody else doing the killing or the processing, as you like to say, I still feel responsible every time one of them is slaughtered.
Somehow, I don't see Junior staying in the family business for very long. He has a conscience, that one. Gives me hope. Sometimes youth are kinder and more sensible than their elders. That was the case with another young man in the early 1880s.
Father, I'm going to take the 6 little orphan calves I saved from the last hunt. I got 2 males and 4 females who haven't even shed their baby fur yet. Poor things, still messing their dead mamas. But I'm going to get them to trust me and I'm going to raise them.
Raise them? Raise them for what?
To breed them, to try to get their numbers back up before every last one of them is killed.
Ain't every last one of them ever gonna be killed, boy. Train cars full of their skins are shipped out of here, and they still come swarming over our plains like giant locusts. Why, their fur is the thickest and the warmest for making rugs and coats, and their hide is the toughest for those machine belts that were manufactured back east. And since people learned that their bones are high in that phosphorus, well, they're grinding them into fertilizer. Yes, sir. Bison are a great resource, and they're as plentiful as the fish in the sea.
They won't be for long at the rate everyone's hunting them down.
Boy, don't you know how much raising those calves will cost you? You're better off killing them and selling their hides.
Mark my words, Father. Years from now, when we can still enjoy the sight of the bison on the plains, people will thank me.
And people today are grateful for carrying ones like him who grew small herds back to the thousands. Still, no one could have imagined how the destruction of the Thunderhoofs would translate into suffering and hunger and even death for the two-leggeds themselves some 50 years later. That's when the land became as dry as a barren woman's womb, and no rain fell from the sky because heaven had no more tears left to cry over the bison in the prairies. The Dust Bowl, it wouldn't have happened if the bison and the prairie grasses had remained on the plains. The grasses fed the bison, and they in turn spread their seeds, fertilized the prairies, and aired out the soil as they shook the earth in their migrations. But by the early 1900s, that balanced cycle of life had been hunted down with guns and broken up with plows. Long before these woes, however, some of those who call me great medicine or great spirit could sense an imbalance coming. They fasted and they prayed to me for wisdom. This time, it was the elders who heeded my words. The youth, unfortunately, did not, and they prevailed.
Great medicine. The whites brought horses and guns to one of our neighboring tribes, who traded buffalo furs for them. Now our young warriors are also in favor of this trade.
Ever since the sun has warmed us and the rivers have quenched our thirst, our people have hunted the bison on foot, Great One, scaring them into chutes that lead them to the edges of cliffs. But herding them into buffalo jumps like this requires help from the whole village. With guns and horses, the men can hunt alone without the women and children.
Our elders fear the power of the guns and the speed of the horses. Too many buffalo are dying. These four-legged brothers have always helped sustain us, their meat nourishing us, their hides sheltering and clothing us, their bones serving as tools for us. Before the hunt, we dance and we pray and we give thanks for the life-giving power, but there is no gratitude in the way of the hunting favored by the whites. There is only taking more than anyone could possibly need.
The thundering beasts you have blessed us with outnumber the stars in the sky, Great One. We can prosper much from this bounty, but the elders don't see this opportunity.
Great medicine. Our people are divided. For 4 days, we have been without food or water. We are hungry for your wisdom.
Elder one, younger one, change in life is bound to come, but it should come with balance. I can tell you that balance will be lost if you make horses and guns a part of your way of life.
Explain to us, Great One, so that we can learn from you.
With horses and guns, the hunt for the bison will no longer be about survival for the many, but about power for the few. Those with the most horses and who can hunt the most will lord it over the others. Also, as hunting on horseback allows you to follow the herds over longer distances, you will come upon other tribes, and they will see you as enemies and invaders. Your guns will be used not only for hunting, but for war. What should worry you the most, however, is how totally dependent on the bison you will become. You will thrive when they thrive, and wane when they wane. And because of the horses and the guns, you yourselves will contribute to their waning and your own.
But if we don't acquire the horses and guns, we will be at a disadvantage against the other tribes and the whites. Why should we not be able to hunt and trade as much as they do?
There are better ways to live than by hunting only for trade. Age-old practical ways, like planting and harvesting, and hunting for food between the planting and the harvest and in winter. There is wisdom in ensuring more than one source of sustenance, and in feeling grateful for having only what is enough. Temper your search for prosperity and unselfishness with unselfishness and respect for the earth, young one. Otherwise, greed will blind you and lead you to an abyss of lack and destruction.
But great medicine.
I have given you my warning, but I know that you will do what most of you, white and red-skinned, have already purposed in your hearts to do. I am sad as I leave you to ponder my words. But when you need my counsel again, I will come to you. I should know better, but I never learn.
You have angered him.
No, I have simply stated my piece.
There's no peace in what you've stated.
150 years is a short time, yet long enough to ensure much destruction. After all, life is so fragile. It takes many years to create and foster it, but only a moment to destroy it. What have the two-leggeds learned from the bison in the prairies in 150 years? Have they learned as little as the ones who Kami-sama have from the whales they still hunt in the North Pacific? Or as those who call me Lord have from every new mountaintop they blast off to mine coal? Or as the ones who call me Deus have from the Amazon rainforest they continue to chop down. They don't learn. And they need to understand that it is more urgent now than ever to restore the balance that was before. The earth is an old woman, and she's not getting any younger. We must treat the old with kindness and respect if we want them to be with us for as long as possible.
Helping to steady them when they walk, so they do not fall.
Speaking loudly so they can hear us when their hearing fails.
Guiding them by the hand, so that cloudiness in their eyes blinds them.
Grinding and moistening their food so they can eat without pain or shame when their teeth are falling out.
It is the least we can do for those who have raised us, sustained us, and given us wisdom.
Yes, the earth is an old, old woman, and she's not getting any younger. We must treat her lovingly if we want her to remain. Otherwise, she'll know her time has come to go off on her own when she feels she is no longer of any use to those she bore and helped raise. I wonder, are all the two-leggeds ready to have old woman Earth go off and die this way? Or are there some out there, like the tender-hearted ones who saved the bison, who still want her to remain?